Hey everyone, it's Shlomo Brody here. This video is for all the couples who are getting married now or about to get married. Mazal Tov, we're all excited for you. I know there's a lot of information or misinformation out there about whether people should be getting married now, whether they should be delaying their wedding. And I hope this video provides some clarity on this issue. So first of all, some people have been saying maybe people shouldn't be getting married at all right now. This is not true. It's true that there are in halakhic sources some discussion about times of famines or wars that we should abstain from various happy occasions or happy affairs, but we never delay marriage or weddings for this purpose. We want people to feel the mitzvah of getting married. This is very important, and particularly in times when there's so much sadness and death out there, it's actually quite important to have a life-affirming event like a wedding. So absolutely, people should be getting married right now, and mazal tov to you. Now the question, of course, dilemma for everyone is, well, let's say I have my wedding coming up in 3-4 weeks. Should I go ahead with it in a very small affair, 10 people, 12 people? Or should I delay it a month or 2 months, whatever it might be, until perhaps then I'll be able to have a proper or normal affair? So this is a big dilemma, and if you look on the web, you'll see a lot of different positions. The chief rabbi of Israel said it's better for people not to delay. Some say it's usher for people to delay. Others say it's perfectly mutter, perfectly permissible to delay the wedding. Where is this all coming from? What's the debate all about? So first and foremost, is there a prohibition of delaying one's wedding? The answer is no. There is no prohibition for delaying one's wedding when there's a good reason to delay the wedding. It is true that in certain Hasidic sources, in the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, others discuss this, a notion of saying that once you've established a wedding date, you should never push it off, because in the heavens, your mazal, your luck is aligned for that given day, and therefore we should never push aside a wedding date. While it's true that there is such a Hasidic notion like that, it's not really well established in sources beforehand, and it's certainly not the minhag Yisrael when there's some compelling reason to delay the wedding. So to give you an example, Rav Soloveitchik, when he got sick, he had cancer and he had to have surgery. His daughter was about to get married to Rav Aaron Lichtenstein. The wedding invitations had been sent out, and then he sent out a letter saying, because of health reasons, we're going to have to delay the wedding 5 weeks. Perfectly acceptable. Rav Zilberstein from Bnei Brak more recently discusses cases where there's a war going on in Israel. And the question was, should we wait a month or two so that we can have a proper wedding when everyone can come without all the fear of rockets, wherever it might be? Rav Zilberstein said it's perfectly acceptable for people to do that. He then quotes his father-in-law, Rav Elyashiv, who permitted a couple who had a wedding date planned in a certain hall that was more expensive. Then they got an offer for a different hall, much cheaper, but a month later. They want to know, can we push off the wedding date? Rav Elyashiv said, yes, of course, is a perfectly acceptable reason. Right? So you see that there is such a notion of saying that sometimes you have to delay weddings, and this is sort of the way life works. In general, halacha affords a lot of flexibility for people to pick their wedding dates, and there's certain mystical notions that might be out there, but we usually are not makbid on this. We usually don't care too much about this. So for example, even in Shulchan Aruch, it records the idea that a person should only get married, have a wedding within the first 15 days of the month, because it's a good sign as the moon gets larger, right, that people should get married during those dates. But we don't follow that practice, even though it's recorded by Rav Yosef Karo and by the Ramah. Right? There are certain notions we have a lot of flexibility when it comes to people getting married, because ultimately it's about finding the best date for the couple. There are reasons, of course, not to delay a wedding. For example, Rav Yaakov Emden discusses the fact that his own wedding, his father, the Chacham Tzvi, made a big effort, even though the family is moving around for a lot of different reasons, to make it to the town for his wedding so that way it wouldn't be delayed. But that's not because of some segula for a good day. That was simply because they were afraid that the other family would be nervous that they were delaying the wedding because they were thinking about canceling the whole nuptials, to cancel the shidduch. And that's obviously an emotional type of consideration. In fact, we allow people to get married during Sfirat HaOmer even, or at least don't protest against them to get married during Sfirat HaOmer, if they're afraid that if they delay until after Shavuot, then the marriage won't happen anymore. Of course, primarily, we want people to get married as soon as they're ready to get married, because we want them to feel the mitzvah of getting married and to have a happy life together. And of course, we want them to avoid the prohibitions that apply to a couple before they get married. But in general, that's always a consideration whether a person has a 2-month engagement or a 6-month engagement. And in any case, if there's a good reason, such as the case of Corona, to delay a wedding, it is certainly permissible for a person to do that. We should also keep in mind that Chazal, the sages, placed importance of having a proper ceremony, right? The notion of Shaktu Chachamim, the Gemara in Ktubot, which means that they invested, the Chachamim felt as important for an investment to be made in the celebration, the wedding, sheva brachos afterwards. And this is a religious value. And as with many things in life, we have to balance different considerations, whether we should delay our wedding or not. And ultimately, this is about what's best for the emotional needs of the couple, which they can figure out together with their parents and, when necessary, with rabbinic guidance. My guess is that many people are going ahead with their scheduled wedding, largely because it's really unclear what delaying is going to help. If you delay it 1 month or 2 months, will the situation be different? Right? It's really hard to know and predict what's going on with Corona right now. And then the question becomes, so what does your wedding look like when you have these types of restrictions? So first of all, wherever you are in the world, you must follow the restrictions as set by the government and the health authorities. Right? There's no playing games with, we can have more than 10 people or 20 people, whatever it might be. Right? You have to follow those restrictions. So this might look like a wedding in which you just have the core members, the couple, the rabbi, 2 witnesses, and parents or very, very close relatives. And unfortunately, other people won't be there, which is regrettable, but hopefully you'll have an opportunity to have a proper party in Suda at a later date. Zoom doesn't help here when it comes to making a minyan. And the rule is that without a minyan, you cannot do sheva brachot. You cannot say the 7 blessings on the chuppah. The reason for that is the Mishnah says that it requires 10 people to be there. This could be because it's considered to be a davar shebekdusha, a holy prayer as it were, like Kaddish or Kedusha. It could be because the sheva brachot were intended to be made in order to publicize it through a tzibur, through a congregation of people being there. And in this circumstance, you might not have a minyan to have sheva brachot. But one should know that you could add certain traditional blessings that people say and recite under the chuppah, and even have someone recite that, like a grandparent, through Zoom. So there's a bracha of Rav Amram Gaon, for example, that's become quite popular in recent years. Very beautiful, not a formal blessing, but certainly has very beautiful ideas that we traditionally recite at a wedding. Hopefully at a later date you'll be able to have a proper Suda, but the wedding itself will not be able to have sheva bracha unless you have a minyan there. But that is certainly an acceptable wedding. And at its core, that's what weddings are all about. With all the noise that we make and the beautiful noise we make from the food and the flowers and the band and the music and the dancing. At its core, the wedding is all about the couple uniting together under the chuppah. I hope this is helpful to you and provides a little bit of clarity. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or PM me at Shlomo Brody. Mazal Tov again. I wish you much happiness for many years together.